Hey there, Bobby O'Brien here, and today I'm going to film a video that I absolutely do not want to film by any means. And I don't really feel super comfortable talking about this all the time, but it's a video that I know I have to make because it's going to help so many people that are currently going through the same thing or have gone through it in the past and are still recovering from the trauma. And the topic I'm going to touch on today is my experience overcoming anxiety and depression 6 years ago. And it's going to answer this fundamental core question that's going to be the main theme of this entire video. And it's a question that I've been getting recently from my peers, people online, and a question I've even asked myself and had to reflect on recently. Bobby, why do you do this? Why are you a fitness coach? Why have you been posting fitness content, health optimization content, talking about hormones like insulin for years now and making hundreds of videos about it? Why do you have this passion to help demanding 9-to-5ers lose belly fat and optimize their health? Why? Why do you want to help as many men and women all around the world see incredible results with their health? And it's going to come down to this story. And this personal story that I'm about to walk you through in this video today is going to answer each and every one of those questions. And whether you're somebody that has struggled with anxiety and depression in the past, you're currently going through it, or you've never gone through it at all, there's a ton of valuable life lessons that you'll be able to take away from this story and take action on regardless of who you are and where you're at right now with your fitness journey, with your health, or wherever you're at in general. So I have made a video on this topic before on how I overcame anxiety and depression. If you're watching this on my YouTube channel, I'll go ahead and drop that video down below. If you're watching this on another platform, I'll send it to you elsewhere. But I did not touch on every detail that I wanted to in that video. And there's some additional details I wanted to cover here, just so I can answer that question with more clarity. So August 29th, 2019, I had my first night where I did not fall asleep at all, out of nowhere. We'll go into the reasons as to why this built up, this whole perfect storm, I'd like to call it, where I just all of a sudden stopped sleeping. But that was the first night, and that was the date that it happened. August 29th, did not sleep at all, and was like, oh, okay, well, it's a bit strange. Happened for the second night, third night, fourth night, fifth night, and that turned into 2 weeks. I went 2 weeks without sleeping at all. Maybe I got an hour or two on a few nights, but it was horrible. And anyone that has dealt with insomnia in the past or is currently going through it knows how bad it actually is. And it's always the start of an anxiety-induced episode, depression, or any other mental, psychological issues. And whenever I was on 2 weeks officially, it was September 12th, I was rolling around in bed, going back and forth. I think it may have been 5 hours that I was laying there, knowing with complete certainty that I had not fallen asleep yet. And I was just asking God, and this is something I don't do and didn't even do at the time, questioning God, why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this to me? But it's the only thing I could do at the time because I could not find an answer to that question. So why is this happening? Why am I going through this? What is going on? And the truth is, I still don't have an answer to any of those specific questions to this day. And I could point my finger at a lot of different things, and there's a lot that built up to it. Had a lot of bad habits, toxic relationships, around bad people that were definitely had a negative effect on me socially and psychologically, and had horrible habits in terms of my own sleep schedule, my diet, exercise routine was definitely not where it needed to be. And I was just constantly inducing inflammation with bad habits that I personally am not going to just go super, super deep into because it honestly doesn't even matter at this point, right? Because you're never going to have one thing. The overwhelming majority of the time, whenever you're going through something like this, where you could just point your finger directly towards the root cause with any sort of mental health issue, anxiety, depression, etc., and say, oh, here it is. Here's the root cause. Let's go straight to this, and then it's going to be gone in a week. There may be times where that happens. There may be times where you have a difficult time sleeping due to a few corrections you can make to your diet or to your health biologically. But when you're actually dealing with hypersensitivity, anxiety, which was slowly compounding from my bad habits over the summer before that happened in August, and then boom, you get hit with the insomnia, you get hit with the depression, like you don't know where it's coming from, the majority of the time at least. And if you knew, you would just go straight there. And that's why I had a difficult time answering those questions. So even though there was a lot of different factors, bad habits, bad relationships, bad habits with my exercise and diet routine, right? Inflammation was certainly very high. I could have pointed my finger at all of those things, right? And I started to correct them. But even for 6 months, I continued to fight this. But the one thing that helped me in that situation was asking for help. Just putting my hands up and saying, I can't figure this out, because I literally couldn't. I couldn't find the root cause reason as to why I was going through this. How would I know, especially with being in the state that I was in, right? Not sleeping for 2 weeks. I was completely dysfunctional. I could barely even speak. And I hit the cosmic jackpot of having a father who's a medical doctor with 40 plus years of clinical experience, who is still my mentor and advisor today, who advises me, right? Gives me advice. And he absolutely changed my life. But he didn't just save me. I mean, he did, but he taught me to save myself with the right actions. And the moment I asked for help, he knew exactly what I was going through. And we laid it all out clearly, even though we didn't know from, just a pinpointed direct root cause, like, oh, here's this one thing. Could have been a multitude of things, could have been all those things put together. Maybe it could have been more than the other, but who knows? We're not going to but dwell on the past and try and come up with all these reasons as to why I'm going through this. We're just going to accept the past for what it is and reward ourselves for making a change in the present and move towards the future. And that alone saved me so much time, energy, and anguish, because I just started taking action. Cold immersion, sauna immersion, exercising very, very consistently now. Fully optimized my diet where it was completely anti-inflammatory. Breath work, really making sleep a priority in my life and going to bed at the same time every single night. Doing all the things to optimize my sleep, not exposing myself to too much light before bed, all those things. All those habits compounded over time, for sure. But for 6 months, from August 29th up until I finally had my full week of consecutive sleep in February, whenever me and my dad went to Mexico City, about 6 months, right? I was going back and forth. It was a battle. I would go a full night without sleeping and do all those things I just went over. I would jump in the cold pool, especially whenever it got towards the winter, do some breath work, eat a very anti-inflammatory breakfast, eggs, ribeye steak, a salad with olive oil and avocados and all these other healthy dietary fats as well, and other anti-inflammatory foods, just eating nothing but single ingredient anti-inflammatory foods. And I'd go to the gym, go to the sauna, and just do everything that I could do to optimize my health, right? Because I didn't have one thing, so I just did everything that I could. And luckily, thankfully, I had the time to actually do this, and most people don't, unfortunately, to do all of those things. And I know I'm one to say that, you can easily exercise 90 minutes per week, which all of you can, by the way. Not everybody can do what I was doing at that time with a full-time 9-to-5 demanding role, with a family as well. Very difficult to do all those things that I was just going over there. But nonetheless, I did it, and it absolutely changed my life, but it had to compound, right? And I finally got to that point after multiple back and forth nights where I had a full week of sleep where I could recite my dreams. I knew that I was dreaming. I knew that I was sleeping well, and I actually started to feel normal and less anxiety. And that's what happens. It happens very slowly, and then all at once you're like, oh, man, where to go? You know what I mean? Like, where is it? Like, I feel no anxiety at all whatsoever. I don't feel any sort of depression-oriented symptoms. And if you're someone that does not feel like that, I promise you, it will come. You just need to let your subconscious rewire itself by taking action, right? And you need to stack all the odds in your favor. And that's what I did. Even though I did not know, okay, maybe it was my sleep schedule, right? Or maybe it was certain foods that I was eating, or maybe it's the toxic friends that I had, or toxic relationship that I was in, or whatever it might be, right? I didn't care if it was one more than the other or just one thing by itself. I wanted to stack the odds in my favor with everything that I could possibly do at that time, and it worked. And that's why I am so passionate about fitness coaching today. I didn't get involved in fitness coaching just because I wanted to compete for a show, or I was super obsessed with growth science. And of course, I've always been into fitness since I was 12 years old. There's literally pictures of me trying to flex like Arnold Schwarzenegger. I've had posters of him in my room, in my bedroom since I was a little kid. But the reason why I actually got into fitness coaching and trying to help people online and help people see amazing results is not just because of the results, but what they can actually do with the results they get. Can they reduce the risk for depression by losing body fat? Can they improve their mental clarity? Can they reduce the risk that they end up like their grandfather who died of a heart attack? And can they reverse that? Can they take steps forward instead of backwards with their pre-existing health conditions? All those things. I can come up with a mountain of examples, confidence, everything. Those are the real things that really make me feel completely fulfilled whenever I'm helping somebody else online from anywhere. And that is what started my obsession with nutrition. And me and my dad spent a lot of time together. And once again, I am so blessed and hit the cosmic jackpot to have him as a father. He's my best friend. We are so close, even to this day. And we spend so much time together reviewing research, listening to podcasts, listening to Dr. Rhonda Patrick, Jason Fung, Peter Attia, all these big names in the space of health optimization. And it just, I got obsessed with it. I just got completely obsessed with it. And just went down a huge deep dive. And luckily I was already on the route of the anti-inflammatory crowd, the people that actually like to talk about reducing inflammation and addressing the root cause of why we actually get sick, instead of just going even further down the rabbit hole of bullshit from people that promote bro science and just focusing on how much you're eating, calories, macros, and not addressing the root cause as to why we actually deal with health issues. Now, I'm not a medical doctor by any means. I've been mentored by one, certainly for a long time, and spent a lot of time with him. But that is why I take more of a scientific hormonal-based approach, because I had to do it for my own health. I had to do it for myself. And it was not because I wanted to be, this super big guy. And yes, that's great. It's nice to look good, but it's a completely different feeling to actually feel good and feel healthy, which is exactly how I feel today. Years later, I sleep 8 to 9 hours per night. I still take action on the same habits my dad taught me 6 years ago, and now I'm teaching it to other people. And that is something that is just so fulfilling to me. And I didn't understand at the time, back when going back to whenever I was questioning God, like, hey, why is this happening to me? Why am I going through this? Now I feel like I'm getting a little bit closer to that answer. And, if you are religious, which I am, I'm Catholic, there's the will of God. Things happen for a reason, even if we don't understand it at the time. And even though I was questioning him and going, man, why are you doing this to me? Why is this happening? It was happening for a reason. And I believe that reason is for what I'm doing today. And we all have our doubts. We all have times whenever we're, going to question our why or going to go through tough times. I still had some difficulties even after that, got laid off through COVID or after COVID. Went through some other pieces of adversity, but it was nothing like what I went through in the fall and winter of 2019. And if it weren't for that, I would not be doing what I'm doing today. And that is the core fundamental reason as to why I do what I do. And it all started by saving myself. And then it went from saving myself to helping others save themselves. Because at the end of the day, I'm not going to be the one to come and save you. Even if we end up working together, even if you watch my YouTube videos and you never work with me, no matter who you are and what your positioning is on that, I am never going to come and save you. And this is something I tell my clients all the time. I'm not here to save you. I'm here to teach you how you can save yourself, because that is the best way in which I can teach it. I'm not going to do things for you. And to be honest, nobody will. Even my father, who is spending a lot of time with me, yes, he spent so much time with me, had a huge impact on the results that I saw, and I would not have been able to see the results without him. I was the one doing the work, and I had to take action on it. If I was somebody that just sat there and looked at everything that he said and did nothing, then it would have all been for nothing. But it wasn't. So it all comes down to you. Whether you're looking to lose body fat, you're looking to optimize your brain health and your mental health, you're looking to improve whatever you're currently going through, it's all going to fall on you and what you're actually willing to do about it based off the set of circumstances that you have. We're all humans that have 2 hands and 2 feet and a brain, hopefully. And all we can do is take action with what we have and with our current set of circumstances and move forward. Once again, it goes right back to what I mentioned earlier. The past is the past. There's nothing that we can do about it. It's transpired. We're not going that way. The only way we can go is forward. And all we can do is reward ourselves for making a change in the present while staying completely detached from what happened.